A question for God. Pause for a moment. Stay right here. If you are hearing this now, this is not coincidence. Something is already in motion. Within the next hour, something unexpected will touch your life. Not loudly, not dramatically, but in a way that changes how you see everything. You may not feel it yet. You may not see signs on the wall, but the wheels have already turned. What is moving toward you does not ask for permission. It does not wait for certainty. And that alignment, do not rush past this. Moments like this arrive quietly, and most people miss them because they look ordinary. But your soul recognized this pause, that subtle tightening in your chest, that sudden stillness, that feeling that something is pending. That is not imagination. Right now, your name has been spoken. Someone said it with a shaking voice. Someone who learned too late what you meant to them. Someone who thought they could walk away and now can't. They tried to move on. They tried to distract themselves. They told others they were okay. But truth does not disappear just because it is ignored. Within the next hour, a message, a call, a sudden realization, one of these is already on its way. Think about your life right now. You have been carrying more than anyone realizes. You have been strong longer than you should have had to be. You held things together even when others crumbled. And still, you know. That exhaustion you feel is not weakness. It is the sign that change is coming. Because in less than an hour, something shifts. A door opens. The truth moves closer. You may already feel it, that pressure in your chest, that inner stillness. Do not ignore this. This is why this message found you. Not to scare you, not to rush you, but to steady you before movement begins. The waiting you endured was not punishment. The silence was not rejection, it was preparation. Someone who once underestimated you is being forced to see clearly now. Someone who walked away believing they were strong enough without you is realizing they lost something irreplaceable. And this realization did not come gently. It came through regret, through restlessness, through nights where your absence felt louder than day. They are being drawn back, not by comfort, not by convenience, but by truth. And truth always returns. But listen carefully. This moment is not about them choosing you. It is about you no longer needing them. You are no longer chasing clarity. You are no longer asking if you are worthy. You are no longer waiting for validation. You already know. That is why the energy feels different now. That is why stillness feels safe. That is why noise feels unnecessary. That is why you feel detached from what you used to want. You are not losing direction. You are aligning. When the truth comes, and it will come soon, you will feel something unexpected. Not panic, not desperation, but calm. Because you no longer need anyone to complete you. You see clearly now. And because of that, what returns to you returns differently. This is divine timing. If things had come sooner, you would have reacted from wounds, not from wisdom. Now you receive from wholeness, and this is the shift that changes everything. Within the next hour, you may notice something small. Your thoughts slow, your breath deepens, your heart softens. This is peace replacing anxiety. You were not forgotten. You were being protected from rushing into what you were not meant to. Nothing was wasted, not the waiting, not the silence, not the nights you questioned yourself. All of it led here, and what comes next will not need force. What belongs to you arrives with ease. If something inside you just relaxed, if hope quietly returned, if this moment feels strangely familiar, that is your confirmation. Type I receive. Not to manifest, not to prove anything, but to acknowledge that you are done resisting what has been moving toward you all along. Stay present, stay grounded, because the next chapter does not begin with chaos, it begins with clarity, and you are exactly where you need to be to receive it. Stay with me. Do not rush this part, because right here is where most people feel uncomfortable. Not because it is loud. You have spent so much time being strong that you forgot how it feels to rest. Not physically. You became the one others leaned on, the one who understood, the one who stayed calm when everything else was shaking. And slowly, without noticing, you stopped asking. You told yourself, "I'm fine." But your soul knew better. That quiet ache you've been carrying was not emptiness, it was longing. Not for escape. You were not asking for more noise. And that is why this message reached you now, because you reached the point where distraction no longer works. Staying busy doesn't help anymore. Staying positive feels forced. Staying strong feels heavy. And that is not failure. That is transition. Something inside you has been loosening. Old identities, old expectations. You may feel more emotional lately. That is not weakness. That is your nervous system finally realizing it no longer has to guard itself. You are safe enough now to soften. And when you soften, truth rises. That is why memories surface unexpectedly. That is why certain names keep coming to mind, not to pull you backward, but to show you what is unresolved.
Someone from your past is thinking about you more than you know. Not in nostalgia, not casually, but with weight. They are replaying moments they didn't appreciate at the time, conversations they rushed through, love they assumed would always be there. They are realizing you were not replaceable, and this realization did not come when life was easy. It came when they finally slowed down, when distractions faded, when silence spoke louder than words ever did. And here is what matters most. Their return is not the miracle. Your readiness is. Because there was a version of you who would have accepted less just to avoid losing someone. That version of you is gone. You do not need to announce it. You do not need to prove it. Your energy already changed, and people feel that before they understand it. That is why respect replaces indifference. That is why curiosity replaces avoidance. That is why someone who once felt distant is now being pulled back toward you. Not because you chased, but because you released. You stopped forcing outcomes. And in that space, alignment began. You may notice now that certain things no longer trigger you. That is clarity returning. You are not cold, you are centered. And when you are centered, what belongs can find you. This is why patience was required, because if things had come earlier, they would have been received by the wounded version of you. Now, you are healed, and that changes everything. Stay here, because the final part is where confirmation solidifies. Stay with this feeling. Do not rush away from it, because what you are sensing right now is not excitement. It is not anticipation. It is recognition, a quiet knowing that something is finally settling where chaos used to live. You are standing at the edge of a boundary. Behind you is the version of yourself who survived. In front of you is the version of yourself who no longer has to. And this space in between, this pause, is sacred. You were never meant to stay in survival mode forever. You were meant to arrive here, where breathing feels easier, where silence feels safe, where you no longer question whether you are enough, because you already know. The waiting did not weaken you, it refined you. The silence did not break you, it clarified you. The distance did not erase you, it revealed your value. That is why things are shifting now. Not because you demanded answers, not because you forced outcomes, but because you finally stopped resisting what was unfolding naturally. Someone is about to step forward with truth, not rehearsed, not defensive, honest. And when it happens, you will not feel the rush you once imagined. You will feel calm, because your worth is no longer attached to what they say. You listen, you observe, you decide. This is power. And whether the next chapter includes them or opens a completely new door, you win. Because you no longer abandon yourself to keep something alive. You understand now, anything that requires you to shrink, to beg, to over-explain was never alignment. What is meant for you meets you gently. It does not confuse you. It does not rush you. It does not cost you your peace. That is how you know. Right now, your nervous system is learning a new state. Safety without control. Connection without fear. Hope without desperation. This is why your body relaxed while listening. This is why your breath slowed. This is why your thoughts softened. You are remembering how it feels to be held by life itself. And from this place, everything changes. After this moment, you may notice you react less, you trust more, you feel guided, not pressured. You stop forcing clarity, and clarity finds you anyway. This is alignment. This is grace. This is not the end of a story. It is the beginning of a new way of moving through life. One where you no longer ask, "Am I chosen?" Because you know, you always were. If something inside you just whispered, "Yes, this feels right," that is your confirmation. You do not need to rush to comment. You do not need to prove belief. But if you feel called, type "I receive" as a quiet agreement with what is already unfolding. And if you wish to return to this space again, subscribe. Not because this channel has answers, because it reminds you that you are the answer. Share this with someone who has been strong for too long, someone who is tired but doesn't know how to rest. This may be the reassurance their heart has been waiting for. Stay gentle, stay grounded, stay open. Because the journey does not continue in urgency, it continues in peace. And you are exactly where you are meant to be.